Good morning, Turks and Caicos. Welcome to the program Expressions. I'm your host, Robert Hall, on this lovely Friday morning. It is so nice to be down here in Providenciales, broadcasting from studios here in Providenciales, the breadbasket of the Turks and Caicos Islands. It's interesting how the pendulum swings. At one time, Grand Turk was the breadbasket. Now it's Providenciales. Many are wondering if Middle and North Caicos will ever catch up or even surpass. I'm a bit doubtful. But anyway, wherever you are throughout the Turks and Caicos Islands and members of the diaspora and others who tune into Expressions, welcome. Before we get started, as usual, I'll go into a brief period of devotions. As I was traveling to Providenciales today, my mind went on the word faith. F-A-I-T-H, not F-A-T-E. Faith. The Bible says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Isn't it interesting how we would mount an aeroplane? We don't know the pilot. We don't know how good the engine is. But yet we sit back and hope that we will reach our destination safely. The same thing as we travel abroad, like on one occasion in Grand Turk, offering to assist a lady whose baggage was left behind in Providenciales. And I tell her, don't worry. Go to the hotel, give me a baggage tag. I'll go back and bring it for you. She says, but I don't know you. I said, neither do I know the taxi drivers in Miami. But anyway, the point is we have to exercise faith at some point or the other. But even when we display our faith in things around us, many lack faith in the unseen God. If we can have faith in the airplanes and the cars we drive, then I believe we should have faith in God, who created us, gave us life, and has a purpose for all of us. Now, many of us wandered through life, wondering what our purpose is. And today, if there is a challenge that I would give you, particularly younger people, find out quite early what your purpose is. May God grant all of you the wisdom and understanding to find that out. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this day. As we are about to discuss certain programs of the community college, we pray, dear Father, that you would bless and guide not only the guest here today, but all those who help to run the college and the students themselves, that they all may understand the roles they play in this developing Turks and Caicos Islands. We pray for our country and for all those who are burdened with a multiplicity of issues. We pray that you would grant them peace. Bless us today and always, for we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Again, I want to welcome you wherever you are. The few of you who may be over there on West Caicos, those in Ambergris Keys, welcome to Expressions. Here in Providenciales, whether you're in Five Keys, one of the original settlements in the Providenciales. I mean, years ago, we didn't used to say Provo, it was all Blue Hills. There were three original settlements: Blue Hills, Five Keys, and the Bight. Interestingly, while many, and particularly our students, they call the name of these settlements, but they do not know why they are so called. And like I explained on one of my programs before, Five Keys is called Five Keys because right in front of the settlement there are five keys. You know, keys for us are these small islands, so to speak, smaller ones. And that's why that's called Five Keys. Blue Hills, of course, is a little bit hilly. Those of you from Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean, what we call hills mean little nothing to you who have mountains, okay? But that's where Blue Hills came in because of the hills and the greenness of the land. And the Bight, because of an indentation in the coastline, that's what you call a bight, okay? So here you have it. Wherever you are, welcome. Over there in Providenciales, in North Caicos, welcome. Sander Point, one of the original settlements. The name suggests it all, from nature, right on a sandy point. That community is built. And then if you drive up and you go to Q, one of the most fertile and verdant areas in the Turks and Caicos Islands, where quite a bit of fruits and vegetables are grown. And good morning to Mr. Courtney Mizik, one of our leading farmers there. And Kew, of course, is named after the Kew Gardens in England, where they preserve, although England is not tropical, but Kew Garden have samples of just about every tropical plant fruit there is, okay? So that's for Kew. And then you go over to Whitby. That's also English. And Bottle Creek, so named because the creek in front of the settlement is shaped like a bottle. Believe it or not. Then you go over to My Rock, Middle Caicos, Conch Bar. Again, by nature. Offshore, there are several bars where lots of conchs used to be years ago, just about coming up on the seashore. There were so many of them. And then you go over to Bambara, where I was born and bred to age 14 before my parents shipped me off to Jamaica. Bambara is the only African-named settlement in the Turks and Caicos. Yes. And then there is Lorimus, named after the first English settler, Dr. John Lorimus. So giving a little history lesson at the same time. All right? And then we hop over to South Caicos again. And by the way, let me digress a little bit. Middle Caicos, of course, because it's in the middle of the islands, but many don't know the official name for Middle Caicos is Grand Caicos, because it is the largest in the Caicos chain and the largest in the Turks and Caicos. All right? And so back over to South Caicos, again, because of how that island sways somewhat to the south. And then you cross the 22 miles channel, Turks and Caicos Passage, formerly called Columbus Passage. Some of you students might still see that in your history text, but just know that it is the Turks and Caicos Islands Passage now, to Grand Turk. And of course, Grand Turk, that's because it's the largest of the Turks chain, which comprises Grand Turk, Salt Key, and the Eastern Keys. Salt Key, well, that name speaks for itself. Of course, it is one of the major salt-producing islands, along with Grand Turk and South Caicos, for some 300 years. Wow, what a long welcome, eh? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stay attentive wherever you are. I know some of you might be driving to work, so it's difficult to listen, and particularly here in Providenciales, I'm going to tell you, keep your eyes on the road. Drive safely, because it could be very, very chaotic down here. All right, so be careful as much as I want you to listen in. There are some of you at various offices where you have, well, your phones and computers, whatever. You may be able to listen in quietly. Do listen in. I have guests today, and it is my delight to welcome two members from the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. Before I ask them to introduce themselves, let me say I am proud to see what I'd call the evolution of the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College from its inception some 30 years ago, how it has grown, and I urge Turks and Caicos Islanders to make it their first choice institution. And I always urge the government to only grant scholarships abroad for areas that are not offered at the community college. This is ours. We must embrace it. We must make use of it. And I am happy how it has been accredited in so many places. And as a former minister of education, though I try to stay out of things, not looking over the ministers of education back as such, I'm always watching, and watching with a sense of pride, how many of the students at the community college go off and do well in those institutions abroad. That speaks volumes in itself. Additionally, I watch virtually every week some relatively young persons getting promoted in the civil service. And the first thing I check, guess what? Where they were trained. And invariably, they got their start at the community college. And so, lady and gentlemen, welcome to Expressions. May you introduce yourselves as to your respective roles. Starting, as we always say, lady first.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hall. Good morning to you and to everyone. I am Dr. Dolores Stapleton Harris, and I am the Vice President, Academic, Vocational and Student Affairs at the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. So basically, I am responsible for everything that is academia, program, everything that is TVET related, technical, and of course, everything that is student related. And I am pleased to be here participating in this discussion and discourse this morning. As indicated, TCICC is transforming, and I am very pleased and honored to be part of this transformation. And we will speak more about that as the conversation progresses. Thank you.
Wow, you have a tremendous amount of responsibilities as I heard you articulate them. Gosh, that's a whole lot.
Greetings. Good morning, Honorable Hall and to listeners. I am Earl Samuels, Assessment and Monitoring Officer at TCICC. My portfolio entails overseeing, planning and executing the TVET programs at the college. I also monitor the academic and TVET examinations and assessments. And I'm happy to be here today to discuss the advancements we're putting forward for the country and to better the people of TCIC.
May I ask both of you, how long have you been in your respective roles?
Well, mine has been fairly short, just 1.5 years.
Okay.
Exactly.
And what has the experience been compared to where you may have been before?
Although we have differences, there are significant similarities. And I have served in the same position at a different institution. So the platform is similar, the responsibilities are similar, and so it is easy, it has been easy for me to transition into this role.
You know, when we were bringing the community college on stream, we tapped into a great deal of the expertise in Jamaica, in that we had Professor Errol Miller from the University of the West Indies.
He taught me math and stats.
Interesting. He actually, for a period, was my principal at MICO.
Okay.
But anyway, and we had Dr. Ted Dexter from Excelsior, and Dr. Sangster from then CAS, now UTEC. And so I would think we've had some of the best brains for the Caribbean involved. And you, how long have you been?
18 months.
18 months.
Yes,
so
sir.
both relatively new.
Yes, sir.
And so how have you found your stint thus far?
I've enjoyed building out the TVET machinery here in a more fulsome manner. Back in Jamaica, they're a bit more far along in terms of TVET, but I hope to, boost what we have built here, so and increase the scale of your offerings and get the whole nation to see the importance of TVET as a way of building the country and reducing the need to import labor.
Yes, I mean, well, Jamaica has, should I say, a multiplicity of different organizations that cater to that. And although we have spoken a lot about technical vocational education, I dare say, in my view, not enough has been done. And so I am more than delighted to hear what are some of your plans. Perhaps, Doc, you may want to give an overview at first, and then we dive into specifics.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Hall. Before I start, I want to commend you for the historical and existing perspective that you gave relative to the demographics of the Turks and Caicos Islands community. I think it is instructive and it provides context into our discussion this morning, because as a college, our vision is to become the first choice for education and training within the Turks and Caicos Islands and beyond. And you mentioned that. And our intention is to reach everyone within the Turks and Caicos Islands. Every nook and cranny, all those hills and bights you mentioned, all those keys, everywhere, all strata of the community, we intend to reach. One of our core values is excellence, and it says we strive for the highest standards of quality in education and training, continuously improving and innovating. And I do concur with you that for 30 years, we're celebrating your way that we're celebrating 30 years. And we have transformed, we have evolved significantly. And while I have only been here for a short while, I do recognize the history. And I see the significant evolution of the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College relative to the Turks and Caicos Islands. And the mandate to develop human capacity, to develop a workforce where there is less reliance on external persons. And so I am pleased that I am a part of the college and that I am engaged in this journey to continue to transform the landscape of the Turks and Caicos Islands. We do have a wide plethora of programs. We have academics, and we do have TVET. And in terms of the academics, we have something for everyone. There are 7 faculties, and And these are, of course, adult and continuing education, business administration, computer engineering and mathematics, education and training, hospitality and tourism management, humanities and liberal studies, natural and applied sciences, and we have our technical and vocation education faculty, and of course we have our TVET, technical and vocational education and training. And within this department, specifically TVET, we offer a suite of programs, and Mr. Samuel will speak more to those programs, but among them, there are customer services, commercial food preparation, cosmetology, spa therapy, general office administration, and business management, and just to name a few. Our main focus here this morning is basically to speak specifically to the STCW course training, which is impending and
what
will be offered.
STCW?
Well, STCW stands for the Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping. And it has to do with seafarers, anything with related to the marine industry, seafarers, boat captains, coastal guards, and all those related personnel. And so we will speak more about that later on as we get into the discussion. But I'm just saying that we offer, true to our mission, and you mentioned in your opening remarks, you mentioned purpose also. True to our purpose, to provide that kind of training to everyone, whether it's vocational, whether it's technical, or whether it's academic. And you also mentioned that persons go off. But based on what I've said in terms of outlining our programs, there is something for everyone, Honorable Hall. There's something for everyone. And there is a platform for everyone in the community. Technical, teaching, nursing, law, medicine, hospitality and tourism. The main industry in the Turks and Caicos Island is tourism. We need that. And we need to continue to build that type of capacity, that type of workforce who can basically respond to this evolving industry, this main industry that the country relies on. And so I concur with you that the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College has been the platform. And everywhere I go in the Turks and Caicos Islands, there is everyone, every institution, every organization. Their refrain is, I am a graduate of the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. And so I see the TCICC as being fit for purpose, carrying out its mandate and its purpose to the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Yes, you have outlined, like you rightly said, a plethora of programs that are undertaken and like the name itself suggests, community college. It is to embrace the community and meeting the needs of the community. When you had your last graduation, I was so impressed to see, for instance, a 50-year-old lady from Providencial is coming to Grand Turk to receive her bachelor's degree, I think, in hospitality sciences. I said, this is really great. I have given a 50-year-old guy a ride to the community college in Grand Turk, where he's doing auto mechanic courses. I mean, that speaks volumes in the sense that there is something for everybody. And through this program, I have often urged our people to make use of these. There are a number of short courses that they can get some certification in, because in today's world, just about everything calls for that little piece of paper. Like I often say to my own children, when I first came back from college with a teacher's certificate, I was seen almost like top of the pops. But if I didn't further my studies, I would be the back of the pack today. You get what I mean? And so it is always important to go on and further your studies. Like I said to many too, we have lots of good mechanics, but for certain companies, you wouldn't get that job unless you have certification, because insurance, for instance, calls for that. And so I am more than thrilled, as you talk about the various programs offering. But bearing in mind that there are two campuses, one in Providenciales, one in Grand Turk, and you did say you want to reach every key, every island, what have you. So how do the people in North, Middle, South Caicos, and Salt Key relate to this? What provisions are made for them?
Well, first of all, the government has a free tuition policy for islanders and BOT citizens. And so when persons attend the two campuses in Grand Turk and Providenciales, they are provided with a subsistence to assist them in their financial incurrence. In addition to that, and which is good, you have free tuition, first of all, by the government, and you also have a subsistence provided to those students who travel to the campuses for their teaching learning. That's another plus. And, the government need to be commended for that. In addition to that, we do have a satellite site in South Caicos, and where we offer certain programs. And we intend, come fall of this year, we intend to add to the suite of programs that are being provided via satellite. We are also exploring satellite mechanism at the other family islands, North Caicos in particular. And so we have those mechanisms to ensure accessibility to training. We also have our online hybrid platform, our online classes. We have a combination of face-to-face, we have specific online classes, and so students who can't make it to the physical campus can engage in online classes. So those facilities, mechanisms provide or enhance the accessibility of students, because we believe no one should be left behind. And so we will continue while we build out these mechanisms, we will continue to improve them to facilitate more seamless transition into these training opportunities.
I'm aware of some of these provisions, but I thought it was important for the public to understand that, because there will be I'm sure there are some courses, for instance, offered in Providenciales where an individual may have to travel from Grand Turk for. And so it's good to know that there is that provision. And I always tell Turks and Caicos Islanders, including my two daughters who graduated from the community college, or two of my daughters, I should say, because I have three, that we are so fortunate. Mm-hmm. Because many countries, oh gosh, they would wish that they would have free education up to that level, let alone some sort of subsistence payments.
Yes.
And therefore they should all try to embrace the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Mr. Samuels, I've left you in the cold for a while.
No problem. Just to expand on what Dr. Harris had said about accessibility. So we have presence physically in Providenciales, in South Caicos, in the prison in Grand Turk, and at TCICC Community College in Grand Turk as well. Those of our candidates who are on perhaps North Caicos, they're able to access classes via online learning, right? So we provide a facility for persons in North Caicos. And in Salt Key, if we get persons who are interested in programs from Salt Key, they could also log in online and receive training in that manner, right? Our plans are to quickly, in the short term, to roll out a physical presence in North Caicos, where we have graduated quite a few candidates via distance education. So that is a short-term goal of ours, to have a physical satellite site in North Caicos to boost our reach in a physical sense. All right. I'm pleased to speak about the prison project. That training has led to rehabilitation of inmates. We have inmates who have been released from prison and have actually gained employment based on the TBET certifications that they would have done in prison. So we're pleased of the impact we're having across the country. Prison, Providenciales, we have had persons who have gotten promotions based on our trainings and certifications. So we're heartened by the progress, and we hope to build out more in the near future.
Yes, I'm more than pleased to hear about the project in prison. I have visited there, given a little lecture on the history of the islands and so on. And, people tend to look at prison just from the punitive point of view.
Right.
But there must be that rehabilitative aspect to it. And what better way of rehabilitating inmates than giving them a skill, something that they could look forward to when they're out there.
Right.
Just a couple of days ago in Grand Turk, I rode by and saw several prisoners out cleaning the streets, and I stopped and talked with them, got some water for them and things like that. And I urged them, I said, now make sure when you get out this time you don't go back. And of course they all said, no, I'm not going back. And I really hope so. But it is so important to give them something that they can look forward to in their communities when they are released. And I am going to call upon the community in the business sector, notwithstanding that they may have criminal convictions, but people do change. And if you do not embrace them and give them a chance, the likelihood of going back to familiar territory, familiar things, is likely to happen. And so again, I call on the community and all those who have opportunities, do embrace these individuals, don't turn them around simply or away simply because of their past.
Correct.
Yes, definitely.
Now you may want to elaborate a little bit more about your TVET offerings and the like.
Okay,
Go
no
right
problem.
ahead.
So we currently have business sector skill areas. Customer service, it is a skill, believe it or not. It's not just book learning. You have to demonstrate you are able to interact with customers, and practical things are skills.
If I may interrupt you,
Sure.
that is one area that I should, as it were, underline. Because whether it is in the private sector or in government sector here, many instances it's rather poor customer service. People tend to act as if they're doing you a favor when queries are placed. Some of them come to work, whatever the troubles were at home, like they bring it there. That's not the public's business. They've just got to understand. While I am not perfect, but like I say, there are some days I might not have the best day, but at least I psych myself up when I'm going to come on Expressions to make sure I give it my best. And the same way all the employees should be doing. And so that is a program that I certainly do encourage.
Right. And as a luxury destination, Caicos Islands, you have to have customer service at all aspects of interacting with tourists, right? You can't have a luxury destination and, you're poor in some areas. You can have a tourist going to the airport or the bank or something like that. It can negatively affect their perception of TCI if they're treated poorly outside of the traditional areas where they're supposed to be, like such as the hotel and fish fry areas. So it's good to have customer service all across the board. So that's why we're trying to push that particular training across the country. We also have office administration, of course, as the name suggests, that deals with persons who are in the office and want to learn how to do technical skills in the office, prepare documents, deal with reports, things like that. So we have also introduced our level 3 program, business management supervision. Those are for our persons who have come up in the levels and have been with the program for a while and now want to advance to supervisor level to demonstrate their knowledge and competency in that area. Outside of business, we also offer training in beauty services, that being hair, nails, and that is been successful. We have had good success from that program. We are looking forward to also introducing construction programs. The demand for that is very high amongst the men in particularly, but we would also love to see women enroll in that sector as well. We're equal opportunity. We want to see gender parity across the board for all of our skill areas.
Stick a pin. As you speak about that and gender equality, I listened keenly to a radio program just last evening with Miss Oriel Selva, who is in that construction business.
Right.
Her father has been involved there for so long. And she certainly is a trailblazer, not just here, even in the United States, where she has a leading role in Atlanta in that organization.
Yes.
And like I often say, Turks and Caicos Islands people have to face certain realities. And I think some of them are very slow in coming to that. With the hospitality industry as our main industry and with limited other natural resources, a lot has to be built around that. So for the foreseeable future, there will be construction and maintenance and what have you.
Definitely.
So it is so important for people to sharpen their skills in these areas, whether it is in plumbing and electricity, air conditioning, refrigeration, etc., etc. In fact, and I'm not putting academia down, but some of the wealthiest people in the world are those who are involved in these other areas.
Yes, correct.
know?
Correct, Honorable.
And so if Turks and Caicos Islanders want to be successful entrepreneurs, these are areas that they really need to look into. And so, I am so taken up with it, so pardon my interjection all the time. Okay? But please.
And you made a point in terms of being wealthy, and there is a common refrain among us, technical education and in academia. Skills pay the bills, and much more than that. It makes you wealthy.
Well, that is correct.
Yes. You call in a plumber to do something for you. What they charge you is like a week's salary, of your salary. Yes.
We have examples of
Yes.
a few throughout these islands who have done fairly well in these fields, And so be it the dirty hands or the dirty clothes or even callous hands from construction, it really, really pays. you know.
And I think one of the things we need to do is to change the perception.
Yes, that mindset.
Yes. That, traditionally, historically, this was something that could not be embraced. Only a certain level of persons, only a certain category of students would engage in the skills base. But I am pleased to say that we are making leaps and bounds relative to the transformation and acknowledging the fact that the merits of technical training are significant in today's world, as well as the impact and the implications for wealth.
Absolutely.
We are making leaps and bounds.
Great.
And it's important to say that our construction program is accredited.
Yes,
By
through the NCCER of USA.
Say what it means.
So NCCER, National Council on Education in Construction, Education and Research. It is a entity based in USA which leads in construction skill areas, right? So we're going to be offering programs from that entity in TCI to so world standard, world class training in HVAC, AC repairs, masonry, carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. And the hope is, again, to have homegrown skilled talent on the island to reduce the need for persons to be imported for the skills. Right? Earlier, Dr. Harris mentioned STCW. This will be TVET's and the college's first foray into maritime training. STCW is a certification required by law for all commercial maritime operators. That means jet ski operators, persons carrying out persons on boat for snorkeling tours, anybody who is on the water with a tourist for money, right? This training is vital, not only because it's required by law, but because it's important to protect the tourists, the guests who embark on these tours and are out on the water. The training teaches basic life-saving skills, teaches firefighting in case there's a fire on board a vessel on the water. The operator knows what to do to out that fire and to protect lives. It also teaches about security on the water. There can be theft on the water, in rare cases it can happen, but the whole program encompasses what you need to be a maritime person on the water. First mate, a boat captain, jet ski operator. And it's fully endorsed by the TCI Maritime and Shipping Department, and it is being offered by the LJMA Maritime Academy from Bahamas. And to echo the theme of us boosting homegrown talent, it is our hope to train local persons to offer this training in the future. We call this methodology train the trainer. So in coming cohorts, we will have a locally trained STCW trainer who can then deliver the program to locals without the need for us to engage with outside parties to deliver the training. So we're hoping to start this training on August 18, right? We will be training new persons who have never received STCW certification before, and we will also be training persons who have the license already, but it has expired and it is in need of renewal.
Recertification.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the logistics of this training. Where? You said 18th of August, so now where?
Yes, sir. So we will be training persons at the downtown TCI campus. That is the location.
West Campus,
downtown. And we will also be utilizing our local partners to do the pool activities where they will demonstrate their ability to use life jackets to swim through local partners. We will also be training them through the firefighting department to train them how to out fires at sea using water and extinguishers. And we will also using sea areas to demonstrate use of life rafts and life-saving devices. So it's a multi-stakeholder collaboration in order for us to deliver this program, but we're fully ready to deliver a high-quality training experience for all those who have registered.
So then those persons who are engaged in marine activities in the other islands would need to come here.
That's correct,
that.
for the first cohort at least.
Will there be any assistance for them in coming here? Any provisions along that line?
Not for this first cohort, but it's something that we can consider for future.
Okay.
Right.
Because, I mean, apart from airfares, if you have to stay overnight in Providenciales and some time with the flights, you know.
But if I may say, the Department of Maritime, who fully endorses this initiative, training, provide there is an incentive for certain persons who are involved in this initiative. And so I just feel that persons need to reach out. I think they're aware. they provide support, a certain level of support.
Okay.
And so I think they know who they are, but it's just to indicate, because we're in the public, that they do provide a level of financial support and sponsorship to some of these individual seafarers who would be involved in the training.
Right.
Yes, and that is important to note.
Okay, let me pause to say to my viewing and listening audience that unfortunately I cannot see too well from this distance. I guess I have to change my glasses to see your comment or even to welcome you as you log in. So what I am going to suggest, because for the next 10 minutes or so we will open the phone lines in the event that you have questions, but otherwise, as opposed to posting them, you can just send them WhatsApp to me, 244-7332, and I'm sure my guests would be delighted to answer whatever queries you have. So remember that now. You can WhatsApp your questions to 244-7332. But I know that there are many who visit with me or listen to this program religiously, some in the United States, in the United Kingdom, around the Caribbean, and certainly here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Some time ago, I had listeners all far afield, as far as Australia and Africa.
Interesting.
Yes, very much so. And as always, I'm thankful for your patronage. I interrupted you a little bit when you began to talk a little bit more about the marine studies. As an archipelago, I mean, that is again a very, very important area. And I was one of those who grew up around boats.
Okay.
You know, the feeling was, well, you just jump in a boat, start the engine, and you're gone. But and I will tell you what, I've had some, I'll call it almost lucky escapes because of that. No proper training or anything like that. And I'm happy that provisions are being made, because here in Turks and Caicos, apart from the boats that go fishing, and that's important too, and I've done a little bit about that. It's like the Bahamian song, I'm a boatsman, I'm a fisherman, what have you. It's like been there, done that. As a child growing up, on Saturdays in particular, you are not considered a young man if you're at home. You're supposed to be in the boat out there, you know. And so a lot of us learned to swim and use boats from early. Oh yeah. I mean, if you're too small to go in the boat fishing, you have your line on the bay. We call it bay. We didn't say beach.
Yes.
And you line fish. You know, that's the way you had to be out there, while the girls at home wash and clean and so on.
Yes.
Yes. And so anyway. It is so important for training and certification, because like I constantly repeat, for government and the private sector, this society is becoming more and more litigious. The slightest thing, they're ready to sue. And although I know some get these guests to sign a disclaimer, for example, with a jet ski, I tell you what, some of that could be challenged in law too. And so anyway, but the bottom line is, before you get out there and operating, you need to know what is required.
Yeah.
And so, Mr. Samuels, you can take us a little further in depth on all these things.
If I may say, before Mr. Samuel continues, is that I did say that TCICC is serving its purpose. And so we are also embracing the blue economy in various ways. And so the STCW is the capstone, a capstone training that we are offering for the first time in collaboration with LJM Maritime Academy.
We have a caller? Okay. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yes. So I just want to say that we're embracing the blue economy. That's important because that's in our strategic plan to embrace the creative and the blue and green economies. So for the first time, we are offering this STCW course in collaboration, of course, with the LJM, which is located in the Bahamas. And of course, the LJM Maritime Academy is a whitelisted academy. It is accredited by the International Maritime Organization, the IMO, which sets global benchmarks for the training and certification of seafarers. So we're pleased that we're not a fly-by-night institution. We are offering this program in collaboration with an illustrious institution which would provide the necessary certification and accreditation.
Thank you. Let me just check my WhatsApp messages. Good morning to Ms. Stiles up there in New Jersey, United States of America. She says she is listening in. Yes. And a friend texts to say there is some info on the screen for them to get more information about TCIC. All right. And good morning to a good friend, Mr. Dean. And he says, I'm happy for the opportunity to listen to expressions this morning. Seeing that you're discussing the development and evolution of our community college, what can you say about Honorable Arabella Smith and her input in the development of our community college? Thank you. Well, the community college came on stream during the Charles Washington Mizzix administration, 91-95, I think was his administration. The Honorable Arabella Smith was the Minister of Education at that time and certainly had a tremendous role in the establishment of that college. Yes, some work was done before by her predecessor, who happened to have been myself, but I would not speak much to that. I give all credit to the Honorable Arabella Rosalinda Smith as far as the community college is concerned. Go right ahead.
And if I may add to you, Honorable Hall, I just want to indicate to the person who asked the question that Honorable Arabella Smith has been very instructive in the development of TCICC. And to give credence to this, we have just released a documentary, a 30-year documentary. A documentary, TCICC's documentary celebrating 30 years and embracing all the key stakeholders who play a critical role in TCICC's evolution and transformation up to this period. And the Honorable Arabella Smith is a significant participant in the documentary. And I would encourage the audience to explore this documentary because it provides critical information relative to not only these giants whose shoulders we stand on, but it shows the transformation where TCICC was and where it is now. And that documentary is available on the website. It's available on YouTube. And so it is there. TCICC's 30th anniversary documentary. And Honorable Arabella is certainly playing a key role in that documentary.
When I spoke earlier about some of the consultants we had, I did not mention the role of Dr. Bino. I think he was a Guyanese, and he was the first principal of the community college. We have had several Turks and Caicos Islanders to head the institution since that. I would not name them all, lest I leave out anybody. But again, I want to laud them all for their contribution, and it is with their efforts that we have reached where we have today. And like Robert Frost would have said, we still have many miles to go before we sleep. But I am sure with good folks like yourselves dedicated to the task, we can reach our goals. I'm going to open the phone lines to see if there are any questions. The number to call is 1-900-2222-007 or 946-2007. 946-2007 might be the easier one for you to get through. And don't forget, you can WhatsApp your concerns to me at 244-7332. My guest will be delighted to answer whatever question you have. And I always say the only silly question is the one not asked. So don't worry about it. Just call, whatever it is. Let's see who will be the first to call Expression this morning. We're broadcasting from studios down here in Providenciales. Some of the local people would say inside a Providenciales. Let's hear your questions, your concerns. Aren't you proud of our institution of higher learning, the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College, and how far we have come? I think it is a tremendous achievement thus far.
I also want to speak about the nursing program.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well, go right ahead while we anticipate calls. Perhaps you're doing such a brilliant job that there aren't many questions. Let's see. But speak to the nursing program for us, because that's, again, is a very, very vital area.
Yes.
Although large numbers of nurses are being trained in the Caribbean area, but there is that sort of brain drain as the United States, Canada, and elsewhere are offering various incentives. To the extent that I noticed even Barbados had to bring in about 800 nurses from Ghana. You know, and so this program certainly can help to meet the community needs here. Go ahead and tell us a bit more about that.
So I am pleased to say that the associate degree in nursing program is on track to be offered at TCICC in the fall of this year. That's September of this year. The program was in a bit of a hiatus for the past 3 years, as there were some issues relative to graduates being licensed, engaging in a licensed examination to be registered as nurses and to be certified to work as nurses. So fortunately, with the buy-in of the government, cabinet and the government, the amendment to the Act, the Health Professionals Authorities Act, was made, which allows the Nursing Council to engage with the regional nursing body and the CXC to assist the students to write the regional examination for nurse registration, which is a licensure exam, gives them the authority to practice as a registered nurse. So that was done. And so now that that was achieved last year, we are reinvigorating the program, and we are relocating the program to the Providenciales campus, where there is a higher level of interest in terms of local persons. We expect that we will get a high level of greater interest internationally. And so we are starting this September, we are starting with the associate degree, but we intend to transition that associate degree into a Bachelor of Science degree within a year. So we're starting the associate degree, and we're putting the infrastructure in place to facilitate a Bachelor of Science degree. And of course we know that nursing is the backbone of any healthcare system. And a healthcare system, there is a common, an old adage: a country's wealth is a country's health. And it's not even old. It's so relevant.
Yes, indeed.
Because indeed it is. The wealth of a country is the health of the country. And so we expect that in resuming the program, relocating the program, we will of course build out a cadre of nursing graduates who can fill that critical nursing gap within the Turks and Caicos Islands. The TCICC is the only indigenous institution who trains nurses. And so we believe that we are going to fill that critical gap, workforce gap, relative to outfitting the Turks and Caicos Islands with their own cadre of nursing personnel.
Why do I have this faint idea that we had already started a nursing program, but you're saying we're just about to start?
Well, we started it
Okay.
some years ago.
All right.
But it was in hiatus.
Okay.
Yes,
That's it.
it was in a hiatus because they were continuing the program without a pathway to being licensed.
I see.
Yes.
And,
so they had to engage in, it's just like the NCLEX. I'm sure you've heard about the NCLEX in the States, where nurses have to write this licensure exam.
All right.
And so no nurse can work as a registered practitioner unless they are registered, licensed, and registered on the books.
I see.
So that mechanism was not in place, but it was achieved by the government's buy-in last year.
Okay.
And so now that there's a pathway to licensure and registration, that program is being robustly reactivated.
Okay. I mean, I know I'm getting up there a little bit age-wise, but I was just wondering whether my thoughts were correct or not.
Yes, you're correct, but
thank-
it was,
Thank you.
matters, the logistics of this.
You know.
Because, like I'm saying, it has to be fit for purpose, the institution.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
And
if you're not providing that pathway, that culmination pathway to your students, it's much ado about nothing.
Correct. All right, so do you want to further elaborate a little bit more? You had
Sure.
commenced our discussion on the marine training aspect of it.
Sure, I'll touch on the marine and then also another program that we're bringing for the children of TCI. So the marine program, SCCW, as was said before, it will be on August 18. For the new applicants, it will be for a week, 5 days. For the renewals, they will be for 3 days, right? It will be a mix of classroom training and practicals. The same for the renewals. And on completion, they'll be certified as STCW holders. We also will be bringing what we call our VEP program, Vocational Explorer Program. We believe that children are the future, so we are targeting children of high school age and exposing them to skills training from that age. So it is a 1-week course which will see participants choosing beauty services, hair and nails, barbering, or construction. They'll be exposed to industry experts in those areas. They'll be provided with all tools and materials and equipment to carry out tasks in those areas. And they'll be mentored for that week and exposed to basic aspects of those skills, And once on completion of that week of training, they'll be certified in basic skills in those areas. And we're hoping to have children who are on summer break, parents or their guardians can send them to the college for a week to be engaged in those areas. Because we want to see the idea of TVET being a viable career path, a lucrative career path, being ingrained from a youth stage, right? And as it relates to academics versus TVET, there's no need for a choice or to be competition. It's possible to engage in two at the same time.
Right.
So at the college, our diligent students who are good at time management have actually embarked upon their degree program, and in the evenings they can then choose to do a TVET course. So there's scope for both to coexist. You can either choose TVET as your primary career, or it can be a quote-unquote side hustle. In either case, it's very lucrative, and it's a way to provide for yourself and your family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question here. I think this one is from a former president of the college, Professor Lee Ingham, and he asks, can you say if local instructors are being used in the TVET program?
We use locals where locals are available. So definitely where locals have applied and expressed an interest in teaching our students, we use local talent as a priority.
Yes, and that is general across the board at TCICC.
Right.
We, locals are given preference once they meet the criteria.
Right.
Because we're cognizant of the fact that we need to build human capacity within the country.
Right. Well, a question that comes to my mind as you say that, there may have been, or there is indeed, a number of successful building contractors or contractors in various fields, but they may not have had the certification necessary. And I guess for them to then undertake training of others, they may need some level of certification. Is that being done?
It is our plan to do that in the future with the NCCR course being introduced in short order.
Right.
We will have locals trained as a priority, and then they can go out and do their own trainings if they so wish.
Okay.
And if I may add to that also, we recently engaged in a discussion at the political level with the University of Technology in Jamaica. And of course you're aware that they have a very strong STEM foundation, one of which is the automotive engineering and construction program. And we intend to not only build on the associate degrees that we offer as a 2+2, transitioning from associate to BSc, but we also intend to offer those short courses, certificates, diplomas, that 6 weeks that required for recertification.
That's very important.
Yes.
Yes. Someone asked, and this question is for you, Doc, says, good morning, question for the Dean. Perhaps didn't catch that before. It said, how long have you been with the college as a Dean, and what is the most challenging part of being a Dean?
Okay, so I'm Vice President, Academic, Vocational, and Student Affairs. There is a Dean, TVET Dean, who is responsible, for TVET, and there is an Academic and Vocational Dean. But so I do have oversight of them, and we work closely to build out the programs at TCICC. I did indicate that I have been here, I came last year, January.
Yes.
So about 1 year and a half I've been here exactly. And the experience has been very rewarding. There are always going to be challenges in program within organizations. But the important thing, it's being rewarded, and is to, the most important challenge would be to build out relevant programs. Apart from the ordinary programs, the challenge is to build out additional fit-for-purpose programs that would be relevant to the workforce. For example, identifying micro-credentialing courses that can provide those quick certification, quick and short certification for the workforce. Because ultimately, we are striving to bridge the gap between the individuals. So providing that level, the diverse programs for different categories of persons is critical. And that is the challenge that,
Did I hear you mention anything about the culinary side of things?
Yeah.
So we
Hospitality.
have lots of chefs and so on, and again, because tourism being our main industry, we should be training our own chefs and have less and less reliance on people coming in from abroad.
Yes, we have
An associate's degree program.
a hospitality and tourism management program.
Okay.
Yes, and we are building. We're building. Most of the students are local, so we're building that kind of capacity. The deputy chair of the hospitality and tourism is a local.
Okay.
Yes, Chef Taylor. And so,
Right, I know
yes,
him, I know him.
And so
Brilliant
he
young man.
augments the program, and with him being appointed as deputy chair of the faculty, he is leading the way to build that human development capacity within the Turks and Caicos Islands. But most of the students are locals.
Right. I mean, I do know at this stage we, at the community college level, we do depend a great deal on expertise from outside, but it is so important to build and enhance the human capital right here. Professor Lee posed a follow-up question to query what are the qualifications for those who help to deliver the TVET programs.
Okay, they're supposed to have at least 5 years of training in industry and at least a diploma in the area which they wish to instruct. So, for example, for cosmetology, if you're doing a level 2 course, you have to be at least one level above to offer the training. So you have to have a diploma, a level 3 certification, plus 5 years industry experience. That is key, because we want to mentor and instill the values of persons operating in the industry. So our instructors have to have industry experience plus relevant certifications to deliver the courses.
All right. So in the existing arrangement, do you have individuals who have industry experience but no certification?
At this point in time, no. All of our trainers are certified with industry experience at the same time.
Can you say what percentage are Turks and Caicos Islands versus others?
For TVET or
Yes.
for the college? For TVET, it's about 10% Turks and Caicos Islanders and the others 90%.
Okay,
Right.
okay. It simply shows then we have far to go in catching up in that regard.
Yes, we do. But I just want to say, relative to having the experience and no certification, that the criteria also allows for equivalency. So although a person may not have the actual certificate, the concept of equivalency looks at the number of years the person,
Right.
the person's experience. And so that is one of the considerations that may be preferred.
Yes. I recall years ago when I was Minister of Education, I had a gentleman who was part-time resident in Grand Turk, Robert Lee from Bermuda. and he introduced block making, not block making, block laying, that aspect of construction at the high school in Grand Turk. And there are one or two individuals who are in the business having got their start in training with him. Yes. Of course, at that time I did not know and wasn't even interested too much in what his certification was. All I knew he's a successful builder and was prepared to offer it. And he's now deceased, but I'm certainly grateful for his contribution.
Just to add, we welcome all locals to apply for positions when they're advertised. They're advertised through a particular procedure in the local papers, on social media. So please, if you're interested in being a TVET trainer, apply.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whoever.
and may I, Honorable Hall, I just wanted to add to what Mr. Samuel said relative to the TVET programs. He spoke lastly about the VP program. I also want to add that we are also partnering with the SNAP Center in Providenciales. It was special education,
Right.
special students. And so we have started that partnership. And recently the students came to the
TVET campus.
The TVET campus for a sensitization orientation visit. We believe again that no one should be left behind, no matter the situation. And so I am pleased that we are providing that kind of experience for these special students.
Yes, and I applaud you all for that because, you know, they can lead productive lives.
Yes.
They may not be as active as some of us, the so-called normal ones, but yes, they can, and I'm happy that you're doing that. To my listening audience, this segment of the show will go on for perhaps about 10 more minutes, and then I will take a break and we can go into other matters for the next half hour. So if you have any further question or comments, again, call in 946-2007 or you WhatsApp me at 244-7332. I think I have just maybe one public announcement that I would want to share with you. And the Honorable Sean D. Malcolm, MP and Minister of Home Affairs, Religious Affairs and Transportation, cordially invites you to the launch of the Local Government Phase 1 installation of district boards. July, that is Monday, July 21 at 10 a.m. 2025. And the venue is Lucari Ballroom, Soltero Resort, South Caicos. RSVP by July 16, 2025. Well, that's for the public. Well, Honor Malcolm and others of you, like I always, you provide the airfares and other things, and then I will attend. And may I remind all us providers, taxi drivers, tour operators, of the training seminar tomorrow, beginning at 10, at one of the classrooms at the H.J. Robinson High School. It is very important that you do attend to that. We're talking about training of various forms here, and of course training of our drivers to operate with accurate information is ever so important. One of the worst things you can do is to give people false information. I always remember, even as a teacher at the high school level, if we didn't have the answer, because you know they tend to think teachers must know it all, say, I'll get back to that for you tomorrow. I go and do my research because I'm not going to just give them any little answer. And so I urge all stakeholders to make sure participate. It is important for your own certification at the program. Well, we're getting right down to the end of the program. Let me just check my phone one more time with any WhatsApp. We haven't gotten any calls, like I say, maybe because the program has been so clear in all its explanation. And by the way, one person texts to tell you, thanks, Doc, for your clarification or your answer when to talk about how long you've been as dean and so on, and what the challenges are.
Thank you.
So again, it shows they are listening and they are indeed responding. Let's see what's here, if there's anything else. And other than that, I will just provide you the opportunity in the event that there's anything else you wish to share, or other than that, then your closing comments. I see one or two texts coming in. I would hope that the persons would conclude them soon so that I have an opportunity to read them before you go on. Is there anything else other than your closing comments that you want to add at this point that we may not have brought out during the program?
In terms of application, today is the official application deadline for new applications to the TCICC. So I would want to encourage persons who intend to enroll to do so. Yes, we are going to make allowance for late application, but today is the official for the entire college.
Yes.
But relative to the STCW course, as Mr. Samuel would have indicated, that training starts on the 18th of August, and we are still accepting applicants for that training, because the more registrants we have, the better it is in terms of providing that mechanism for recertification, a number of trainees who would be recertified. And so I am using this platform to ask all seafarers in whatever capacity to continue the registration process. And we appreciate their engagement and buying into the college's offerings.
Great. Good morning to Tom Wells. I think you're over there in Middle Caicos. And and he says, as a former educator, you must be pleased and proud of the progress that has been made. And then he corrects himself to say, I should not say former, you still educate us. All right, thanks very much. Well, you know, they say once a teacher, always a teacher.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I am indeed very, very proud. This person texts to say too, wow, Mr. Hall, it showed how far we have come, that you now have a dean or a vice president, have a doctorate degree. Competition is fierce. Upgrade yourself, TCI. Yes, that is the urge. And you see, I always remind my listening audience that I remembered when I became minister in 1980. At that time, there was only one local who was a qualified lawyer, Ariel Mizik. Of course, since then, we have trained perhaps about 100. You see, success breeds success.
Mm-hmm.
I recall then there might have been only 2 individuals in the entire education system with a first degree. Now, there are a number of them with masters, and some have gone on, like the president of the college, a proud Turks and Caicos Island, with a doctorate degree.
Yes.
Again, all this shows how far we have come over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I am not claiming credit for it, but the point is I have all reason to be proud to see how far we've come. I remember then when I was Minister of Education, and I went to the schools and I would ask the girls, what would you like to be when you leave school? At that time, either I want to be a nurse or I want to be a secretary, because that was what they were more
yes,
familiar with.
yes, yeah.
And if I asked the boys, almost everyone wanted to be a pilot,
All
because there are a
police.
few guys. I never had many want to be police for whatever reason. I would encourage them to go and join the police force, of course, but many wanted to be a pilot. Some I dare say for devious reasons, but anyway, I will not go into that today. But it is so important that when they see successful persons in various fields, that sort of acted as a motivation for them to go into those fields. And so today, Turks and Caicos has gone into so many areas.
Yes.
I recall then when we had maybe just one local doctor, and now, of course, we have trained dozens of them. That is indeed the way to go. I will just go through my text one more time, and then I'm going to ask you to make your closing comments. Let's see, Professor Lee Ingham, good morning to you and wherever you are. And he says, I assume that the TVET students are placed with relevant companies to gain practical experience. So I assume that the equivalency clause might come to play here.
Okay.
Mr. Samuels, you can respond.
So we're working on an internship and apprenticeship program for our TVET students once on completion. But at this point in time, once they complete, they most of our trainees are actually employed already. So our training really gives them mobility upwards in terms of promotions and doing their own business. So but in the future we plan to have a internship and a apprenticeship program for our TVET students to, as Professor said, that clause he stated.
Yes. So, yes, I guess maybe this is the final text before we end this segment. And it says, good morning, Mr. Hall. Can anyone come to the training tomorrow at HJ, or is it only for persons with public service licenses? It's mainly for persons with public service licenses, but I would suggest other members of the public who are particularly interested in getting into this field, then why not? Why not come? And I say that in the light that I will be the main presenter of it, and individuals will benefit because, one, I would be giving a historical overview of the entire Turks and Caicos Islands, because that is extremely important that we know our islands. You can't sell a product if you don't know it. Extremely hard.
You do.
I always remember when I got out of government, I came to Provo doing some real estate. And at that time, just getting into the business, I encountered a particular client. And I would admit I was fumbling a little bit about things because I was a new boy, knowing Provo and how to find whatever. So I told him about some of the offerings, and then I also mentioned, well, some aspects I wasn't too familiar with, and he said, well, tell me some that you're familiar with. And so the important point is you have to equip yourself with the knowledge.
Yes.
And then, of course, we're going to do some simulation exercises, how to conduct tours on the spot. And if I can negotiate it with one of the trams, I would like to do it in a practical sense, going around the islands. So it can be beneficial to all those concerned. Okay? Great. Well, listen, it's funny how time slips away. An hour and a half has gone by just like that. And not that I am tired in any way, because I tell you, I am really delighted to sit back and listen to all the programs and activities that you all are undertaking. But I suppose we have covered most grounds. Of course, you still have the opportunity. If there's anything left out, you can include that in your closing comments. Starting with you this time, Mr. Samuels,
Sure.
and then Doc.
So I'm listing public to monitor our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook. If there are further questions for us, you can always reach out to TVET at tcicc.org. tc. All right. So we're going to be posting about our upcoming programs. You can then find our links to register for courses on those platforms. And we look forward to our customers reaching out to us and asking questions and interacting with us.
Well, thank you very much, Doc.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Hall, for this invitation and for the opportunity to represent the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. I am deeply honored to be a part of this discussion and to promote the college. I just want to iterate that at the college there is something for everyone. The college is a platform to launch from, and I encourage all to take advantage of this indigenous institution. We offer the pre-college programs, associate degrees, Bachelor of Science degrees, technical and vocational training, and we also have professional short courses which persons can take advantage of. We also have free tuition. There's a free tuition policy for Turks and Caicos Islanders and BOT citizens. We have a cadre of experienced and qualified faculty, and we have flexible learning options, you know, the hybrid, face-to-face, and the online mode of delivery. And of course we have our two main campuses that students can choose from, as well as outreach from the other family islands, including our satellite site in South Caicos. We also offer, for those students who do not benefit from the free tuition, we offer a very friendly payment plan that learners can take full advantage of. And so I use this opportunity to make a clarion call to persons to come to TCICC. This is the institution of first choice. This will give you an opportunity in life to set yourself on a platform. It's here and it should be taken full advantage of. I also urge that you send in your application as soon, as I indicated, today is the deadline, but as soon as possible. And we will consider the late applications. And finally, I like to make a clarion call to all the listeners, all the external stakeholders, to support the college. Support not only in terms of application and enrollment. We also have a foundation, a college foundation, that we expect alumni to be a part of and to provide that support. We cannot do it as a subvented institution. We can't do it on our own. We need the support of the critical stakeholders such as you, all who are listening to me. And this is important for us to continue to transform lives, to build human capacity within the Turks and Caicos Islands, and to make a difference in the life of the community. Support TCICC. Thank you all.
It is said that knowledge is power. It's also said that ignorance enslaves, but knowledge liberates. And so I urge all concerned to get as much knowledge as you can. Even at my age, I'm researching, getting new information almost every day. Learning should never stop until you reach the grave. I am indeed more than pleased to have hosted you both today. I am thankful, and perhaps I should say this on behalf of a grateful public, for the contribution you both are making at the community college and for extension to the Turks and Caicos Islands. May God continue to bless you all in your endeavor as we strive to make the college better and better every day. Take care.
Thank
God
you.
bless you, and feel free anytime to call. Expressions is always willing to host you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to go back to the studio for a moment, and I'm going to ask them to play a nice interlude of music while I bid farewell to my guests. And then for the remaining minutes, if you have any questions or comments other than what we have just discussed, then it is your time. Good morning once again. Welcome back to Expressions. Well, we have had a very interesting and informative program with two individuals from the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College. We just have about another 15 minutes to go on this show. And so we're going to have open line for this segment. Whatever question or comments you feel like, please go right ahead. I believe we have a question. Caller, if you're there, go right ahead. Welcome to Expressions.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Mr. Hall. How are you?
I am pretty good. And you?
Hello.
Yes, I'm hearing you. I said I am well. And how are you?
Okay, I couldn't hear you. Mr. Hall, I got a few things I want to say. I don't mean to take up your time, but what I have to say is very important. It's not about me, it's about the people in this country. Mr. Hall, I have never been so disappointed in a group of people like I am with this current crop of ministers. When I was out campaigning and getting people to go to the polls to vote for these guys, I didn't think it was going to be like this. You would expect that a government that is being re-elected wouldn't need time to find their legs. They already have foundations to build on. Mr. Hall, since the election, absolutely nothing has been done. I don't care if they kick me out of the party after I say what I got to say, because I'm not making anything up, Mr. Hall. I am being honest. Mr. Hall, almost every day people are coming to my door, rowing and carrying on, rightfully so, because I was the one who persuaded them to go and vote, whether it was PDMs or PNPs. Mr. Hall, we haven't had any contracts and grant talks since October of last year. Everything I'm saying, you could fact check. Then we got the water sports guys in Grand Talk and in Provo. They are being hindered in Grand Talk Carnival, telling them where they could be, where they can't be. The government seems impotent to help them. This government is all about words, but no action. And we, the people, deserve better. We have some water sports, local water sports guys, Mr. Hall, who is about to shut down their business because someone in immigration is blocking everything. Meanwhile, Red Hospitality brought in a new boat the other day, and within 2 weeks, they had all of their permits and everything. There's some guys, local guys, immigration keeps writing to them and telling them to supply information that was already supplied 2 and 3 times. And don't try go to the ministers for intervention because it's not there. We did not go to the polls, Mr. Hall, and vote for these guys to live in luxury and enrich themselves. We went to the polls and voted so that they could create an economy where all of us could benefit from it. And right now, that ain't happening. I'm puzzled as to why they can't do anything. Absolutely nothing. And you could talk to the premier, don't care who you talk to. There are only 2 of these ministers who, when I talk to, I see action. Mr. Musgrove is one of those people. He is a man of action. Nobody else there. The other ones just give you a lot of talk. And then there is Sean, who is my good friend. When Sean was in, Ministry of Health, Sean used to spend at least 2 or 3 days in Grand Talk every week. Now Sean is in charge of Home Affairs. Sean, like he don't know the name Grand Talk. Mr. Hall, Grand Talk was dying. Now we dead. Even the life support machine that Grand Talk was on, it's no longer in existence. These guys got to do something. It's like they believe that, we got 5 years to coast along. We got 5 years to set ourselves up and to hell with the rest of the people. But you are going to come back 5 years from now and need us. Need us, who went to the polls and put you all in there, believe in what the promises you all made. Mr. Hall, this is not how it's supposed to be. Grand Talk people, not only Grand Talk people, Turks and Caicos people shouldn't be living in poverty. And that's where it is. If we do a survey and see how many people in the Turks and Caicos, but especially in Grand Talk, is living below the poverty line. And that is all on this government. That is all on the shoulders of the premier, because he was premier from the last 4 years before the election. What is it going to take, Mr. Hall? What is it going to take to get these? First they were saying, oh, wait for the budget. Mr. Hall, the budget already passed. The budget already uploaded. Certain people are getting contracts, but the rest of the people who need the contract are not getting anything. And they come to me because I was the one who talked to them, and they can't reach the ministers. And then we got the at-large candidates. Some who used to be very vocal, now all of a sudden they quiet. But remember one thing, you all at-large candidates all of you all may not be ministers, but let me tell you all something. If you all don't start pressuring the ministers to get something done for Grand Talk and Soul Key, there will be hell to pay, because people are tired. People are frustrated. When people are pushed so far that their back is against the wall, the only thing for them to do is fight back to get from the wall. And right now, Mr. Hall, that's where we are. I'm sorry for the young man up here at Carnival, because I see these guys on social media posting about their struggles up there. There's nowhere for them up there, nowhere. And this is unbelievable that we have a Turks and Caicos Island government and that our people are being pushed to the back. We can't, I hate when I hear politicians say Turks and Caicos Island is first. Not in Turks and Caicos. Not in Turks and Caicos. If we want to be first, we got to go to another country. Mr. Hall, your program just now is a great example. You started out by talking about when you see, promotions and new hires in the civil service, and you see a Turks and Caicos Islanders, and you check to see where they went to school, and you see at some stage in their education they went to the community college. And then the two people you was interviewing are two experts. Not one of them were Turks and Caicos Islanders. What irony. But Mr. Hall, this government needs to do something, or else I am going to be leading the demonstrations, because we didn't vote for these guys to go sleep. We didn't vote for them to tell you, but I out to dinner. I can't talk now. Out to dinner, you all better make sure that at least you all can go out to dinner. What about the people who ain't got nothing to eat? Mr. Hall, if I sound angry and frustrated, it's because I am. I haven't been on your show for a long time, not since early December.
I noticed
Mr.
that.
Hall, I just needed to get this out because the people are coming to me. Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank you very much. And I haven't bothered you much because I know that on a personal level, you're going through quite a number of issues with illness and deaths in your family. And I hope you take it as I have intended it. Some people get a little upset when I mention their personal circumstances. But thanks very much, Mavis. You have expressed your sentiments, and no doubt there are many others who feel the same way as you. I can only hope, and I know, that some ministers are listening. There's cabinet today, so I'm not quite sure how many are actively listening, but certainly some of them will listen. I'll go back and review the program later on. And other members who are not ministers, they do listen quite frequently, so your message will certainly get home. I agree with you entirely that they should not sit on their laurels and just simply think, well, we got 5 years to make it straight, and they need to start batting, as it were, from now. With regards to the water sports situation, particularly jet ski individuals, I have spoken about that subject more than once. I have sent videos to the Premier. I have taken the Deputy Premier up to the site where they operate from, which is quite, in my view, treacherous, dangerous, and is no way to portray Turks and Caicos Islands. So something better has to be done for them. As far as other vendors, the government has acquired what we now call local village. And although there is still some resistance, I'm going to be straight up. We could no longer continue with individuals plying their trade right in front of Carnival. Yes, the beach belonged to us, and you can go and swim or walk right up to the dock in Carnival, as the case might be. There's not a damn thing they could do about that. But it wasn't definitely not right that a person would want to sell their goods right in front, some without the required licenses, while Carnival tenants have to pay large sums. So government has created a no soliciting zone in front of Carnival, so that the fights that used to take place there, and many individuals running almost between people's legs while they're taking their tan, that is no longer so. And I would submit, if their product is good, they advertise, and lots of people are doing their business through the internet, then guests will find you just like ants follow sugar. I watch the guys who do horseback riding, and they do several tours for the day. They're always busy when the cruise ship comes in. And that's because their product is good, they are reliable, and obviously their prices are affordable. Now, as for, and I'm not answering on behalf of government, I'm not qualified to do that. I am just giving my personal take. You are quite right that, particularly with regards to the Grand Turk Enhancement Project, that has been stalled for some time. I queried and urged the government to get it going. I am told that they are busy recruiting a director, anyway, to see that program through. That is indeed very vital. If there are any other questions or comments, we just have a few minutes. Please call now. The number to call, 946-2007. 946-2007. This person said, wow, nice to hear from Fly Chick today. Wow. Okay. Good morning to my good friend Conrad Pension. Let's hope all is well. Good morning to the Honorable James Malcolm. How are you? And he says, good morning, Honorable Hall. A very informative and instructive moment, and a job well done by yourself as host. It was also indeed a pleasure for Professor Lee Ingham, a former president of the institution, to have chimed in on discussions with pertinent questions and remarks. Thank you ever so much, James, for your kind remark. And good morning to my good friend Sir Charles, taxi driver. Perhaps I'll give you a call just after the show. I see you reposted that article, A Rough Road Ahead. I question the authenticity of that. I will not be reading it, of course, on the show, as time would not even permit. And there was another gentleman who had spoken, who wrote me about something that he wanted to call in about, but he hasn't. Well, that's up to him. And this person simply says, good morning, Honorable Hall. How are you and your family doing? Well, I'm doing quite fine, and family doing fine likewise. We have a caller there. Caller, go right ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Hall.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to hear Miss Mavis on the radio. Miss Mavis is talk the truth, whether you like it or not. The woman like we run for the woman, over here. And the intoxicated eyes, the woman sound like she should have been in premier or whatever. Because what the ministers and our representatives supposed to be calling into your show, you have Ms. Mavis doing it. And she's making a terrific job at what she's doing. It's ridiculous the things that goes on down here, and we don't have no representation. No rapper. I mean, one of the ministers or who we elect to come over here and talk with us to see our needs and whatever, Mr. Hort. It's ridiculous. Only time we see these guys is 3 months before election and 3 months after election. After that, they totally disappeared. It's ridiculous what's going on in this country, because you know who benefiting out of all of this? The foreigners, Mr. Hort. You go anywhere, we start from the seaport to the airport and come down through town. Only people making it is the foreigners. Mr. Hort, we need some representation in this country, in which we don't have. So I take my hat off to Ms. Mavis. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, we're out of time, and I cannot delay this because today I have a very important female chauffeur. I am never so privileged, so I cannot keep her waiting. Good morning to you, Skipper, and the boys on the taxi line. If time permits, I will come by and have a one-on-one with you. Good morning to Jimmy and to Fireproof, Busher, and to my nephew Kevin. I hope somewhere along the lines I get to see you during this lunch period. Anyway, I want to thank all of you who have listened or viewed the show, and to those who participated. My guests have departed. I want to thank them once more, and hope that they continue to keep up with the good work. And Greg, thanks ever so much, the little genius. So it is the weekend. I hope that all of you will go out, have yourself some family fun, and God bless you. Join me again next Monday when we hope to have yet another very interesting Expressions. God bless.